Good morning. It's pretty early in the morning. It's 4:30, and I'm out here at Pauline. Pauline, if you don't know, this is my Lone Star Grillz pellet cabinet smoker, and we're getting it fired up. I was out here late last night cleaning it up, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it turned on. So I'm gonna press the power button to turn on the fireboard controller. And I'm going to press the knob in to ignite. I'm going to turn the knob to 275. That's where I like to run this cooker. And I have 2 briskets I have to cook. I'm going to go ahead and get those briskets trimmed and seasoned. Hey, yo, this is Dash. Get ready. All right. So I have my 2 briskets here, and I'm going to trim my briskets. I'm going to show you how I trim my briskets for how I do for my catering. And there are 2 different briskets, and this is going to bug me, so I'm going to move this back just slightly so it's not on the table 100%. But this is a 4-foot stainless steel prep table that I keep out in my garage. I wipe it down and then cover it with foil. But I'm gonna come in here and trim this decal of fat out. I'm just kind of getting my fingers down into the fat. And this is one of those things where you do it enough, you'll know where that fat knuckle is. So I'm just kind of peeling it back so I can see where it is. And I'm just taking my knife and I'm going directly in and cutting that all out. If I see more of it, I'm going to cut in a little deeper, cut against it, and cut it all out. I'm actually taking the knife down into that vein of fat, and I'm cutting it all, getting it all out. The more of this fat you remove, the faster your brisket will cook. I'm going to come in on the underside, and again, just cut it all out, cut all the fat out. You'll see it's a pretty defined vein of fat that you can cut out pretty easily. Now I'm cooking this brisket to be eaten. I'm not trimming this for sausage or anything like that. So that fat, that tallow, I am not keeping it. You can definitely keep the fat if your heart desires. Be careful cutting towards yourself. Take your time. I'm just going to get all these egregious pieces of fat off. Come under the brisket. All right. Now, this big vein of fat here, I'm going to come and actually trim that out as well. So I'm going to cut down. This is the point, the flat, and this is the point. We have what the orientation that the brisket is. So I'm going to come and cut this down. And again, cutting this vein of fat out now will save you time in cooking. Is this necessary to do in every cook? No. Since I'm able to do it, I see the vein of fat on this brisket, I'm going to cut it out. You'll also be able to get more seasoning down in between the two muscles with that cut out. So let's turn the brisket over. Now I trim my briskets rather aggressively, and this one has already been scalped. So I'm going to come in, cut this fat off, take it down just a little bit. Now I can see that this fat on the side of the brisket is a bit much. So I'll come in and trim that off as well. I'm not trimming anything else off of this brisket. I'm not going to round the brisket off or cut off this piece. It'll be fine. For my briskets on the fat cap, I like to have about 1/8 of an inch, between 1/8 and 1/4, where most folks will tell you at least 1/4 of an inch. I like to go a little thinner on the fat cap for mine. Let's get the other brisket over here. And again, we're starting at the bottom with this decal of fat. So I'm just going to try to pull it away from the flat. Get in here with my knife. Start cutting behind it to separate it. And as you start to separate it, you can see where the fat is and where it isn't. So now where it is, I can go down in a little more until it isn't. And where it isn't, I'm just going to try to get to a point where I am cutting towards the fat, and then I'll come on the opposite side and cut this whole thing off. And the decal is removed. The decal of fat, rather. Now, this brisket, there is some fat down in here, like I removed from the other brisket, but it's not as egregious. It's just not the same. So I'm going to come in and cut some of this out. Sorry, this is at a better angle for me to cut it and not necessarily for you to see how I'm cutting it. Again, I'm just coming in here and cutting out the fat until I don't see any more of that vein of fat. All right, on the top side of this brisket, there's a pretty decent piece of fat up here. I'm going to cut this off, or that whole tip of brisket will just be, whole tip of the point will just be fat. And you notice I'm cutting towards my hand. I am being careful to make slow, deliberate moves. And I'm trying to keep the knife towards the brisket. So I'm peeling the fat away and I'm cutting, but I'm cutting down towards the meat and not towards my hand. I'm not cutting up this way. All right, there you have it. My briskets are trimmed. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and get them seasoned. All right, so I won't say while I wait, but my cooker is almost up to temperature. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it opened up. And to be fair, I did already open it up because I added my water pan. I'm gonna put my briskets on the number 2 shelf. Again, counting from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 I really don't use. That is reserved for my water pan. I have a full catering pan that has about a gallon and a half water in it. And I'm just gonna get my briskets on the grate here. So let me get them on. All right, so this is the first brisket and I'm just gonna stick it here. Now, if I were doing way more briskets, I probably would line them up, I don't know, vertically. I guess this is horizontally, so that I could stretch them here. But if need be, if I condensed everything down, I could probably fit 6 briskets. I know people ask, how many briskets can you fit on a grate? I could probably fit 6 decent sized briskets. This brisket started life at about 13 pounds. It was a little under 13 pounds. And the other one, actually, this one was a little more than 13 pounds. The other one is a little under 13 pounds. Here's the other brisket. I'm just gonna lay these out because of the fact that I have plenty of room on the cooker. I'm not doing anything special. They are laid out pretty flat. I always cook fat cap up. Your mileage may vary on how you're going to season, or not season, how you're going to orient yours. I have a little bit of seasoning left on the foil and I saw a bald spot there. So I'm gonna just cover that up. And these guys are gonna take a good long smoke nap. So these will be out here for 4, maybe 5 hours, depending on how they look and how I feel. But I'll see you guys when I check on these. I'll probably check on these briskets in about 2 hours. All right, so as promised, it has been 2 hours since I checked on the brisket. I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys, get it opened up. And everyone always asks me, is it smoky? Yes, it's smoky. I got my safety squints on from all of the smoke that's coming from the cooker. It's kind of hard to see, obviously, on camera, but the briskets are looking good. I have the fireboard probe, and I'm gonna put it in the top there. Turn it up that way. And I'm gonna continue to monitor this. I'm seeing some decent color down in here, and you guys probably can't see the color. There you go. So I'm seeing decent color down around the edge of the brisket, and we're doing well. I'm going to check the probe temperature. Hopefully it'll come up momentarily, and I'll be able to monitor the temperatures from in the house. But I'll continue to come out. I'll come out and check on this again in another hour. But looking good. I'll see you in an hour. Can y'all hear the jackhammering that's happening pretty much right outside of my window here? Show must go on. All right. So it's been 4 hours. And my brisket, one of them is at 165 degrees, the other is at 150 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pull these guys off. I'm not worrying about which one is, higher temperature or whatever. I will put them in pans and take them inside of the house and finish inside of the house in the oven, just so I don't have to keep coming down to the garage. But before I finish that, I'm gonna I have some salmon, just 2 little salmon pieces, just 2 little pieces here, and some everything bagel seasoning. Susie has been recommending that I cook some salmon with some everything bagel seasoning. So today, before I forget, I'm gonna throw these into the smoker with the everything bagel seasoning. Man, no, I'm not filming a YouTube video or anything. Sure, go right ahead. All right, just gonna take this and wrap it up. Oh yeah. Whew. So let me get this closed off. All right, so before I head back in with the briskets, I'm gonna turn the smoker temperature down to 225 degrees. This salmon, it's not gonna take very much to cook it. So I'm gonna close the door, let the temperature come down, or actually get back up to temperature. And then I'm gonna get the salmon seasoned, put it on here, and then I'll get the briskets in the house. All right, so here's my salmon, everything bagel seasoned salmon. And I'm just gonna take this, like I said, I turned the temperature down on the cooker. I'm just gonna toss this in here. And I put it on foil just to make it easier for me to take it in and out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my brisket wrapped. And when I say wrapped, all I'm doing is putting the brisket into a foil pan. I'm not adding any tallow. I'm not adding any jus. I'm not adding any beef broth. The briskets will provide their own moisture. But what I will do is when I take them in the house, the brisket that has the lower temperature, I'm going to put it lower on the grate in the oven. And the brisket that has a higher temperature, I'm going to put it up a little higher. And that hopefully will help even out the speed in which they're cooking. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and get them inside the oven in the house, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Well, I'll probably see you when the salmon finishes. All right, so it's been 25 minutes, and I had the smoker, like I said, I turned it down to 225 degrees. I'm actually gonna turn it off. I'm not gonna lie, I cheated, and I checked the temperature of the salmon. But the whole thing was I came out here and just kind of dug right in. But this piece is at 18 degrees, and this piece is at 120 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and take this in the house now, and this will be for lunch a little later. So I'm knowing that it'll get reheated a little later. I'm not worried about it not hitting a done temperature. So, but looks good. Like I said, I turned the smoker off, so it's gonna start cooling or going into the shutdown mode. I'm gonna take the salmon in the house, and I'll see you guys once the briskets are done. Or we eat the salmon, whichever comes first. So, one of the briskets is done. Let's see which one it is. One or two. There's one. One. Of course, the one at the bottom. Woo. Oh yeah. Do not try this at home. I'm an untrained professional. All right, so now I'm gonna just get this here on the counter and woo, one brisket. So I'm not gonna take the foil off completely. I took it off just to show you guys. But that is the brisket. There is all of the jus that is captured. I'm gonna put this foil back on top and leave it vented while I let it sit here on the counter. The other brisket is almost done. It probably has another 10 or 15 minutes. I'll bring you guys back once that one's done. All right, we are back a few moments later, and the second brisket is done. Woo. Is warm. Get that out of there. Oh hell. Just gonna want to move the rack out a little bit. There we go. Now I can grab the brisket. Whew. All right, so second brisket out of the oven, done. Now, see how you guys can see these a little better. Oh wait, there we go. All right, there are my 2 briskets. Looking pretty good. They are done. So like I said, I'm gonna let these hang out here on the counter for about 2 hours. It'll probably take them. I am not worried about the internal temperatures, and I'm not in a rush to get these taken care of. I have to cut both of these briskets up, and I'm going to vacuum seal them a little later, separate them, vacuum seal them into about 2-pound packages for my uncle, and I'll bring you guys back in a few hours.
More butter, baby.